I can tell you right now, like there are very few things I remember from Catholic church just because I wasn't bought in. I was tuned out. I went because I had to go with my family, and it was just like you sit there and wait till it's over kind of thing. So I think it really is almost like learning a new language. It's this new chapter, and we're really just becoming a new version of ourselves through this. And I think you do have to have some trust in the process and trust God in a sense there, but it's also for us and the way we operate is going to be a learning experience and embracing that too. So I think that is a big piece of this rather than just reading it on our own.
I need to make sure everyone understands I'm fully walking back that statement. I was simply stating in a lot of Christmas movies, like you hear seeing isn't believing. And that was the only point I was driving home. I was not comparing God to Santa Claus. Don't go throw me off a bridge. That was what I was getting at. Not the comparison.
I knew what you were getting at for the record.
Thank you, Joelle, but
I'm not
90% of
offended.
others did not. Take over.
Yeah.
You haven't really told your side and coming up and
Me?
where you're at and how you got
Um,
there and where you
yeah.
drifted. I know.
So similar to Alessandra, I was also like had to go to Hebrew school twice a week, like basically from elementary school age up until age 13 when you get bar or bat mitzvahed, which I was bat mitzvahed. You go to Hebrew school twice a week and you learn Hebrew and you learn about Judaism, but very similar to like Sunday school or religion class where like you go, you're like, this is stupid. I don't care. I'd rather be hanging out with my friends. And you leave and that's the end of it. And then like you got bat mitzvah, you did your big Torah reading, you got this great big party and you're like, cool, that's the end of it really. And probably similar and like maybe like after that, we didn't go, like I didn't go to synagogue every Saturday morning, the way people might go to church every Sunday morning. And same with my husband. He's like, I haven't been in a church since my confirmation. Like he was confirmed at whatever age, it's around 13, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Well, ninth grade.
okay, yeah, 13, 14. Um, haven't been in a church since then. And it's it's interesting. Um, it's for a few years after that, I would still attend synagogue on the high holidays, which are like the major Jewish holidays. Um, Passover, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, those are some of the big ones. Hanukkah is like the least important holiday for anyone listening. It just gets a lot of attention because it's around Christmas. But it I noticed that once I was no longer living home with my parents, I was no longer like going to services, no longer going to synagogue for the high holidays. Like, I think my parents and my upbringing were a big part of like why I stayed as rooted in it as I was. But every time I went, I was like, this is stupid. Don't like it. Doesn't resonate. Don't want to be here. Would rather be elsewhere. It just never really resonated with me, which is why I think it's so interesting that now in my adulthood, like 20 years later, literally, at least since my bat mitzvah, that I'm like, maybe they were onto something. And my parents have been to Israel several times. My dad has been taking Hebrew classes for years so that he could learn to speak fluent Hebrew. And they have been very called to their Judaism in more recent years, specifically since like October 7th stuff. There's a lot of Jews that are feeling more called to their faith as like we're seeing a huge rise in anti-Semitism and anti-Israel rhetoric. And you see a lot of Jews feeling more called to like represent their faith. And so I've had that the last few years of like a little bit more curiosity, a little bit more like want to step into that faith. And yeah, then like the last few weeks has happened and I'm like,